Money, love, body. This is what we're talking about. Yesterday, I did a chat on money beliefs as a little warm up to Surge, which is being announced on October 7. So today, since we're talking about love, I'm going to share with you one of the beliefs that I've held around love. So when we think of love and when we think of relationships, we always have this image of what a perfect partner is. And I'll share with you a funny story actually. So way back 20 odd years ago, maybe even more, when I was first introduced to the Outlander book. And if you have not read Outlander or at least watched it on TV, please do. But when I first read that book, someone gave it to me. It was something that I read, and anyone who's read it is going to understand this. If you have not read it, you're not going to understand the reference. But everyone wants a Jamie. Everyone wants a James Fraser. That's what you want in a partner. After reading that, it was like, yes, that is the perfect man. Even though in the book he was described as, not this supermodel type being, he was a man who was just a man who protected his family and loved them no matter what. He supported, he believed in things, he showed love and compassion and pain and hurt, and he was just your everyday human. But there was something about him in the way that he fought passionately for the things he loved and who he was and the beliefs that he held that just made you fall in love with him. And this was something that I had as an ideal mate before I'd met my husband. It was something that I had always believed that even without having any of that spiritual knowledge or anything that I know now, and this is going back 20 plus years, I had believed that there was a perfect person for every person, that each person has a soulmate. And I know we hear a lot of people talk about twin flames, etc. I don't know. The jury's out on that. For me, I don't really have an opinion or an attachment to a belief on that with the twin flames anymore. However, way back then, I had believed that there was one perfect partner for one person, and that most people were with the wrong one. Most people were just accepting the relationship that they were in and who they were with because that's who they matched with in that moment. And of course, over the last few years, my viewpoints on this has changed so much. And, since reading that book and having that belief, obviously so much has changed with getting married and then my husband passing away, etc. And then now being faced with widowdom. Is that a word? Widowdom? Widow. It's opened up a whole new realm of ideas and thoughts, because when you marry someone, you don't think that you're going to be back out on your own again. And then there's another whole world of thought that comes with that. But going back to the way that the relationships form based on who you are and who the other person is in that moment. And this is such an overgeneralization of the whole idea. But if you look at it as a place of where you will attach to someone based on where you're at, and you will find that person based on you're at, because I can guarantee you where I am at now, with who I am, what I understand, what I know, what I believe in, etc., I probably wouldn't have met my husband where he was at when we first met. Because you're in a different space. You have different things you like, different things you don't like, different beliefs. You now have these new ideas of things that you will tolerate, things that you won't tolerate. There were things that you used to like that you no longer like anymore, and vice versa. So for me, one of the big beliefs that is coming in for me now, and something that is really interesting, is because you have spent so much time with that one person, you have to see yourself in a different way, in a different light. What if someone new doesn't like me? What if someone new doesn't like the way I look? What if someone new wants to do totally different things? Because when you've been married and when you've been with someone for a long time, they get to know every part of you. They know how you move, they know how you sleep, they know how you eat, they know your personalities, they know every single piece of you. And getting to a place where you have to go do that again, it can be quite scary, because there's so many new things to learn. There's so many parts of a relationship that's going to become new. And not that it needs to be something that distracts you or hinders you from moving forward in that. It is definitely something that you start considering. What if that person doesn't like my fat stomach roll? What if that person doesn't like the way I look naked? What if that person wants to do things differently to what my partner did? And it's like you need to create this whole new level of confidence, because when you get comfortable with someone in a relationship and you let go of any of those things that you were worried about, any of those things that you were holding on to as a belief about yourself, once you find someone who truly accepts you and loves you and is there for you in the way that you want them to be, and then they're gone and you want to open yourself up to that again, all those beliefs come back. Even though you weren't holding on to them during that relationship, because you're in a different situation, there's these new beliefs, or maybe old beliefs, that resurface. So for me, even now, even though it's such an interesting concept and idea, and something I definitely have drawn no conclusion on, it does open the door to all these new beliefs that I can now look at and say, oh, okay, where's that coming from? Let's have a look at that one. And these were ones that I am finding were probably present way before my husband, but also some of them are new. Because if you're going to be intimate with someone, right? And obviously, if you've been together with someone for a long time, you have changed so much from before you were with that person to where you are now. Physically, mentally, emotionally. But when we get caught up in the way that we look, or the way that we think that someone else will start viewing us, it's like a situational belief. It's one that has arisen based on the situation that you are in. So even though, just say you look a certain way, say you've put on weight from when you got married, and your other half doesn't care, they still love you no matter what you look like, etc. And when you're in that relationship and when you're all together and no one cares what you look like because you love each other in whatever way you love them, it's not an issue. But when you break up, or you're no longer together, or someone moves on, why is it suddenly an issue? Why is it now an issue? Because you are now alone and you are now possibly seeking another relationship with someone else. Why does it become an issue now when it wasn't before? So it was only because of this new situation and this new place that you have found yourself in that you are now believing that it should be any different to how it was before. And yes, of course, there's a different layer of connection and understanding when you're with someone, when they have been with you for a long time and they understand you and they know you. But you thinking that you may be overweight or not attractive enough, or you don't look good naked or whatever, as your belief going into a new relationship, that is a belief that has clearly stemmed from your own confidence. So even though we can look at beliefs from where we're at, it's when we have certain situations that are going to allow us to create these new beliefs or these overarching beliefs that, maybe you still thought you were fat and unattractive when you're in that relationship, but you didn't give it much thought because you had a partner who didn't care what you look like. Because that partner loved you no matter what. It wasn't about what you look like naked or whether you were overweight or underweight or whatever it is. So if that is something new that comes up because you're put into a new situation, it's going to be the same as what I was talking about yesterday in the money beliefs, is to look at it dead in the face, is to see how it has become part of who you are, how it has risen to the surface as this new belief, whereas before it wasn't something that was already surfacing or something that was already growing. It was because of a situation that has now caused this belief to come into effect. And look at it, feel it, see what it's attached to, see where else that is holding on to the things that you are believing about yourself, the collective or the societal beliefs of the way that we should look, or the way that our bodies need to be in order for someone else to like us. Look at those things and start on that level, because obviously body image and the beliefs we hold about that can stem so deep, far and thick because of not just our own experience and our own awareness, but it can be from growing up, from our childhood, from society, from collective, from outside people. There's so many places where that is going to be wrapped into all these different beliefs and stories that we are holding. So if you are someone like me who is now seeing that as a belief of something that is now coming up, it's a great time to really look at it, but you may need to look at it on different levels. You may need to look at it not just on how it is affecting me and how it has affected me directly, but look at those collective thoughts and ideas as well, and do the same thing we spoke about yesterday of just watching it unravel, just watching it start to dissipate and break up, and allowing that space in between that thought so it can start to loosen and not become part of who you are, not become part of that coded frequency of you, and hold on to that belief as the only truth, the only possible truth. Because let's be real, is that 100% true? Do you 100% believe that every single person in the world is not going to find you attractive because you believe that you are overweight or underweight, or you don't look good naked, or you have this scar, or this doesn't work properly, or this is too big, or this is too small? Do you 100% believe that every single person in the world is going to think like that? And I can guarantee you the answer is no. And the people who are the people, like the ones I spoke about in the beginning, like the ones that you really want, the ones that I believed in before I started learning so many new things, that soulmate, they are going to see the essence of who you are, that person who is inside of you. They're not going to see what you look like on the outside. And that's what you want. You want someone who sees you for you. You don't want someone who's just seeing this external vision of what you are being represented as in this 3D being. You need to know that the essence of who you are, and the love and the feeling and the personality and everything about you that comes from within is seen instead of what the physical outside looks like. Because you could lose 20 kilos, you could gain 20 kilos. Is your personality still the same? I had this conversation with someone the other day. I said, if you lost 10 kilos today, because they were worried about their weight, and I said, if you lost 10 kilos today, would you be any different? Would your personality change? Would you talk any differently? Would you do anything differently? Would you be anything differently? And the answer was no. So what's the point? The only reason that you are wanting or thinking or believing that you need to lose that weight to look good is because of these beliefs or these standards or these ideas of what you think you need to look like in order for someone else to believe that you are worthy or attractive or someone who is worth mating with. And if you are holding love beliefs, sometimes you won't even know until you are forced into it, until the situation changes. But If there are things where you are finding in your relationship that is based on you believing something else about someone else, I would ask you to go within. I 100% believe that the secret to any amazing relationship, whether it is a soulmate, whether it is a twin flame, whether it is someone who's with you for a period of time of where you're at, whatever it is, you need to love yourself first. This is not new information. I am not breaking any records by saying that, but it is 100% true. In order to attract the perfect person, you need to love yourself first. Looking for external love is never, ever, ever going to solve the problem. Loving yourself first and allowing things to attract to you is going to find you something that is going to be meant for you. Looking for something that you think will fill a void or a hole or somewhere where you think you're lacking or you're not believing will never last long term. And if you're following along with this podcast and the announcement on Saturday, please listen, because there is going to be something that's going to help you create the love for yourself in order to create the relationship that you really want. And here's a quick little exercise if you're up for it. And this is one that I remember when I first did. Oh my God, it was so hard. Go and look in the mirror naked and tell yourself that you love you. Say, I love you. It is such a simple thing, but can be so hard to do. Start there, see how you go, and keep doing it until it feels fun and easy. I'll be back tomorrow.